Hi, everyone. Hello. Good evening. How are you? I'm just waiting for that 10-second pop, and then everyone pops in. So, just in case anybody is new here, I'm by myself. Usually I have a co-host, but she is done with When Calls the Heart. So I'm flying solo. Thank you for being here. I feel strange sometimes when I'm talking to myself, but I know you're out there. Everyone's saying hi. I'm taking little notes. I got all my notes ready. Let's see. Miriam's here. Hi. Hello, Catherine, Mary. Everyone's talking about Lucas's cane, which I addressed yesterday because right after the episode, if there's anyone here that doesn't know, right after the episode, the new episode on Sunday, I do a special fireside chat that is dedicated just for Lucas and Chris. So if you are not a Lucas and Chris fan only, and that's all we do talk about, it's good that you join us here tonight. So, Martha, yes, I'm going to address the no shirt, and I want to address the cane though, since it's pertaining to Lucas. I don't know why they have him walking with such a short cane. Did they do it on purpose because they really want him to look like he's struggling? He's doing a very good job. He reminds me of uh, Martin, who is Henry, how he just took on that role when Henry hurt his leg and he limped for so long, and he just really had the part even after it's supposed to heal. You know how people I walk with a limp sometimes when my one leg acts up. So I feel like he's such a good actor. He's absorbing that role. I mean, I feel like even his hair and his clothing look a little, out of sorts. And I was glad to see that someone noted that everything that's going on with Lucas, he's trying to convince Elizabeth and himself that he's on the mend, and he is, but he's so very much overwhelmed by everything that is going on in his life. Besides, being seriously injured and taking on governorship, which he was, not trained to be, but he is good at it. Trusting, a new guy. I'm not sure if we can trust Edwin. We'll talk about him in a minute. So he's a bit of a I don't know, not the Lucas that I know. And I think as the episodes go on and the story arc happens, he will arrive there at the end of this season, which is a good thing. And I was saying before, I saw him, he was drinking from a teacup. That was the teacup that Elizabeth had given him, which is cute because all those little reminders are there for his personality because he is very sentimental. Just going in his office with all those beautiful things of where he's been and what he wants out of life is cute. So I'm glad that they're keeping with that. Let's see. I noticed, hi, Holly. I noticed that the office looks different after Lucas left Capital City. This is true. It does. I love that he said, can I use it to Lee? But it does look different. But a lot of his little knickknacks you can now see in the governor's office. I noticed that. Remember, I had said, I think after, was it episode 1 or 2? I think it's 2 we got to see in it, where I would like to do a deep dive into that office when they have him back in it again. Hello. Oh, Anita, you're from New Jersey. Hello. So am I. You know that. Everyone's saying hi. Hi. Edwin is the shooter. Deb, stop it. He is not the shooter. That's just too silly obvious. So let's talk about Edwin. We know Edwin's personality does not fit with Lucas's personality. And when we first met Edwin in the beginning of season 10, he was very pretentious and very demanding. Remember, he didn't want anybody in those waters and no children, and they had to come up with that compromise, only for us to later find out that he was the governor's right hand. And then when he saw that was going down the drain, he hopped on the Lucas not drain. And I don't think Deb he's a shooter. It's just too obvious. And if it is, what kind of Captain Obvious writing is that? I don't know how on the up and up it is. I'm almost wondering for now. Okay. You are correct. He is just not for Lucas. I'm almost wondering if Edwin, he plays, the field. He has to because he's a politician. And he's doing a lot of work for Lucas because this is not Lucas's thing. Lucas does not have a political back history, where you've I mean, we might unearth some things about his history, which might be rooted in the United States because he traveled all throughout there. But it's not like he's got all these favors he has cashed in to get where he has to get. So Edwin is in the know, and he looks suspicious, and he's a whiny brat, and he's pretentious. He couldn't wait to get out of Hope Valley. He was rude about that. And I think it's just too obvious. And I'm almost thinking if maybe he's on the borderline of shady. Some things he knows and he should tell Lucas and he doesn't. Like, for instance, that deal where Lucas, because, Lucas should read everything because he is the governor, but because he is in the situation that he is in, it wasn't fully disclosed to him, even though Lee said it was in there, that the rights for that side of the mountain for the land where they want to build this resort goes with Benson Hills, or they have to come up with a compromise. So Edwin, I think maybe he'll redeem himself. Maybe he'll have an opportunity where he could hurt Lucas, and in the end, he won't. I'm wondering how that goes. I also would be very interested to have him on as a guest. So those are my thoughts about if you have other thoughts. I was about to say boys and girls. I apologize. It's been a long day. If you have other thoughts and you're talking about other things, I can't see them. It flies by so fast. If you want to chat with each other, that's fine, but I can't address it across the screen. But if you, even if you already posted it, have something to say about Edwin, let's post it again and let's see what we have. Yes, Lucas is trying to figure it all out and then how to get there, which is why he has asked Henry, as Henry has a lot more dealing, similar to being a governor in a sense. Yes, because he was a mayor. Now, someone was saying he can't do the job that Edwin does. I don't know. I think you love my accent. Okay, thanks, Jay Bishop. I think that threw me off. I'm sorry. I think that he needs his little team. I think Lee, as well as um he needs a liaison with back in Hope Valley. That is his town. And I think Lee, along with Henry, would make a good team for helping him. And I'm not saying get rid of Edwin, but Edwin's going to have to learn that Lucas does not work the way the other governor worked. And they have to figure out a common ground. That is what I'm hoping the writers do. If it's smart of them, they will. Rona, Roxanne, the writing has to be good for that to happen, Rona. I just said that. It could be. Avis, I want to know if Montague is backed by someone. Yes, let's talk about that, Avis. I love it. I saw you wrote that somewhere and I made a little mark about it. You want to know if he is backed by someone with money to back for the resort, or does he have his own money? And Hargrave, of course, we think he's covering up. Listen, I was thinking, because I saw ahead some of the synopsis for the episode where Lucas is having a hard time finding bidders. I think that that's because Montague is scaring off people to bid because he wants that land. And this is also the time for organized crime, as Avis pointed out. So we might be seeing a little bit more of that. Maybe that is what's going on with Montague. Let's see. Lillian, I don't think Edwin's a bad guy. I just think he's a political opportunist. Yes. And I feel like he's borderline shady because political opportunists are. And I feel like he might redeem himself as time goes on. Like when he could really hurt Lucas and we think he's going to, I don't think he will. Yep. There's something about Edwin that I don't trust. And they want us to feel that way about him. And I think so. Hi, Nikki. Oh, they're telling each other where they're from. Edwin deserves to be fired, but I think Lucas will keep him around. Keep your enemies close. And also, if Edwin is shady, Lucas may use him to get to the real enemy. Edwin is just an opportunist. Yes, agree with all of you. Now, Deb thinks that he shot the governor instead of he shot the sheriff. I don't like the way that Edwin quickly said that Lucas didn't need any more security in Hope Valley. Yeah, I know. Then again, also, Edwin wants to leave town, He wanted to hurry up and get out of there. And I agree with you. And I think they wrote it that way because it was Captain Obvious again. He doesn't need any more protection. I'm like, yeah, okay, goodbye. All right. Montague is shutting off the money like he was shutting off the water. I really think that that's why there aren't any bidders. Okay. Martha, do you think Jeanette is involved somehow? Well, I don't think the character is on for more than one episode. So I don't know how involved she is. I feel like that she's coming back, not because of his shooting. I think she's there to bring out some of Lucas's past, which causes angst with Elizabeth, which causes like a misunderstanding with Nathan. I really, believe it or not, think it's to push the Nathan and Elizabeth storyline forward because it is. Listen, it's like a snail can move faster with that relationship. So I really think that Jeanette is there just to give us some background information to make a little spark of a love interest for Lucas. It better, listen to me, it better not be, because I saw the promos and the previews. If you don't like them, close your ears. And thank you, Dorothy, for loving my podcast. Close your ears on this if you don't want spoilers. Where it's Lee talking to Rosemary. I love the scene. I love it. I love it. I love it because her little self-centeredness comes out and Lee's like, and he placates her, but he's like, oh, she's not a widow, Jeanette, she's like a screen siren, and even people that are listeners, I remember saying some about Jeanette, and people were like, oh, I want her to come and pair up with Henry, and I'm like, I don't look at her as being older. I always thought she was young. And they've never written it that she was older. They actually on purpose didn't describe her. But people think that she's older probably because she needed help. She was being taken advantage of, and she was a widow. Now, we all know just from Hope Valley, when it was Coal Valley, you could be really young and be a widow. And I mean, even look at Elizabeth. So we know that, but in our minds, that's what happened. And I think that's why people assumed that she was older, but it was never said that. And I always felt the vibe that she was younger, especially when I knew she was like a little bit undercover. But anyway, yes, Jay saying, I always assumed she was younger. Good. And I saw the promo. It was good. Yes, it was, Cindy. I hope Jeanette stays. She's not Christina. I don't think she does, but I don't think we've heard the last of her. Robin, we are going to find out Lucas definitely needs protection, and it will be interesting to see how this happens. It will. So far, we've got Bill and we have Nathan who went to have the conversation about it. And right away, Lucas poo-poos it off. He doesn't want any protection. So I'm thinking to myself, that's about the most Mountie stuff that Nathan's done. I'm going to get into Nathan next, but let's see what Avis has to say. The photo that is shown of Lucas and Jeanette from the past looks like Bonnie and a bearded Clyde. I think the clothes were a little off. I feel like if that was supposed to be like 10 years ago, right? Because he's been in Hope Valley like for 6 years about or whatever. I don't know. I felt the clothing was off, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We know she's a widow. We know whatever. Robin, and it feels like I'm making this the Lucas show. I'm not. It's just that, let's face it, that episode, if Lucas wasn't in the scene was mentioning him. Yes, I think she is there to make a little bit of friction with Lucas and Elizabeth, and then Elizabeth will find out he had a relationship, what makes her realize that she is good to move on with Nathan. I think Elizabeth is definitely good to move on. I think it's more of she's going to be a little miffed because Lizzie is very, I don't know, she's very self-centered. I mean, she's mad. Remember, she sits back and she goes, I just wanted to go back to being normal. He didn't tell me he was coming back. Well, why? Because you're hurt. They didn't tell you. What do we have to tell you for? Do you know what I mean? Why would he even want to? Maybe he didn't even know he was coming in. Maybe he didn't want to announce it because it would, cause a big fanfare, and he wanted to keep it, on the down low, as we say now. So I know that that's silly, like as if she's a real person, but I think that's how they wrote it, and they're writing her, and I don't think they realize it to be quite self-centered. I'm serious. she's just, I don't know. It's weird. And anyway, let's get into let's see. I thought the photo of them right before he arrived in Hotel. I thought that photo was of them right before. It could have been Rona, but my point is the dressing I thought was a little off. He doesn't owe her a thing. You're right. What's this? Hi, Roxanne. Yes, I love the end scene, but I found the use of the word normal weird considering Lucas and Nathan arrived in town the same time. Plus, he literally took a bullet for Hope Valley. E can be rude. I agree. What's Brian Bird saying, Nikki? Responded to a post on X that if Lucas knew what was coming for him, he would reconsider more security. So some scary stuff's coming down the line, and I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's going to be some kind of dramatic showdown as we get closer to the end. So let's talk about Nathan. So Nathan and Bill come to talk in the very beginning to Lucas and talk about that he needs more security, and he's like, no, 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 no. It's I'm fine. And Edwin's like, he doesn't need any security. Edwin, I want to go like that to Edwin. You're a little Pete. Squeeze him. Anyway, Nathan is a Mountie. I have been saying for how many seasons, when is Nathan going to actually do some Mountie stuff? Like last season. I mean, one time we get to see him do that cool rifle trick. But where like this is 3 episodes and we see him taking care of the horses. We see him going fishing. And I mean, the man is entitled to, he was away for 3 months, so he's entitled to some relaxation. I get it. His party, dropping off lunch, that was a dumb, lame excuse to me. I mean, this is a grown man. He's not 12. Like, come up with something better to drop off lunch for his daughter. And I'm like, what Mountie stuff have you done? I want you to be a Mountie. When are you going to do your job? When is we going to see Faith being a doctor? When are we going to see May actually doing something other than massaging a hair and driving off to get mud? When are we going to see her being a pharmacist? Why isn't anybody ever visiting the ice cream shop? Why is it always locked up and people have to go in it after hours? Like, what happened to all of that? All we have is Mountie Nathan, and his storyline is let me look at Elizabeth. And she looks at him. And I'm like, are we 12? I mean, my 12-year-olds are like into things more. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that Elizabeth and Nathan storyline? It's like, really, here's what I find funny. Nathan's amounting. I didn't see it. Laugh out loud. He's a Mountie doing Mountie stuff, right? All right. I loved that Toby. Okay, Avis, we're not there for Toby, so I got to take that down. I'll get to that. All right. So now that we're in this part with Nathan, so we've got Elizabeth who goes in to talk to him about Lucas. And there is a back room, and you know from before, for a while, Jack even lived in there. So Nathan probably was getting changed, and whatever. And he comes stepping out, and we see him. I was shocked. I knew that it was coming, but I didn't know it would look like that. I was totally shocked that he was totally shirtless. And she's like, oh my, and we're sorry. And he puts on a shirt and she goes out the door. And when she goes out, she gets this little smile. Do you remember when they had Elizabeth sitting on the tiny little couch with Lucas in that dark scene, and he does that whisper talk and they lean into each other, and he's kind of unaware because he's upset about something of how he is affecting her physically, and he leans in and she says, will you like to have dinner with me and spend more time? And he goes, I would, but I'm just not in the right mood. I don't want to do that to you. And they never kiss, but I think he kisses her hand and he touches whatever. She gets up. That man didn't take off a stitch of clothing. His shirt was up to here, and she had to fan herself. That was a sexy scene. Now, shirt off. Let's talk about, I don't know, cheap shot, I think. Yes, Kevin McGarry is physically fit. Love it. But it was weird to me, okay? It was weird because when we would go to see an operation or anything, people are like covered up. I remember Paul Green saying that he would like push the envelope a little, where he would take his shirt and it had to be buttoned up to here, and he would like to like maybe do two little buttons. And I remember Andrea was talking to him about it once and saying, "Yeah, you're the one that pushes the envelope on it." Now we have that. We also have these very innocent relationships where Elizabeth is just looking and he's looking, and it took 500 years for somebody to touch each other's hands, like we're in Bridgerton when they removed the glove in 1814. And then we have, let's go to Mike and May. Have they been together for 5 months and have never kissed? Yet we got this man who comes out and is totally shirtless on the show. That to me was like cheap shot trying to build ratings kind of thing. I don't know. That disturbed me. It made me mad. Nathan is too busy being beefcake and eye candy for Lizzie. the Listen, that's how they write it. They need to make him be a Mountie. Could he please be a Mountie? Okay. Let's see. Yes, Lucas and Elizabeth scene in the office on the couch was so beautifully written for a very respectful adult relationship. It was we're not allowed to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna whisper it. It was so sexy and hot. Way more than here I am with no shirt. Wah! Okay. What if we flip that script? Okay, because he's a man, he's totally shirtless. What if we did something like we saw Elizabeth in her bra and I don't know, garter? That would be like over the top, right? Anyway, it was not right for the show. Thank you. I mean, listen, there's a time and place for all of that, and I did not feel like that was the time or place. What if it was in the summer and he was taking a dip in the springs? I mean, even in the springs, their suits were all up and covered up. So I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was weird. Anne Marie is saying again, Kevin McGarry takes care of himself. He is physically fit, yes, but so is Ben. Ben is even, I think, more buff than Kevin McGarry is. And God forbid if they make him run around with no shirt on. First of all, these two have not even kissed, I think. Don't think it was sexy. I thought it was hilarious and awkward. Okay. All right. So here we go. It's enough about poor Nathan. Nathan, go back and please be a Mountie. All right. So now we have Elizabeth, who has that conversation about how more than once, she just wants things to go back to normal. How many of you thought that was weird? She said it many times. So I knew that it was going to be written into the story somehow, where she's saying I want it to go back to being normal. She thinks it's going to be normal and it's not. And that's exactly what happened. Yes, people are saying the shirtless scene was ridiculous. I get that. They did it for the Nathan fans. I get that. I understand that, but it's not appropriate the way they did it. It was like a cheap shot. They could have come up with something better. Okay. So this whole what is normal. Yes, even Nathan questioned her about what she meant by normal. And that's on purpose, because what she's trying to say is normal is not feeling, I think, guilty and feeling free to pursue her relationship with Nathan without a distraction, which is fine. I mean, people that are in love or think they might be in love, that is exactly what it should be. But do they realize, are they purposefully writing that and realizing how it sounds? Because there are people that have been here for a long time, and Lucas is a part of their community. He arrived before Nathan arrived. So what is normal? Like, what was her normal? 3 years playing Hope Valley Bachelorette. Oh, she has become difficult to like. Do you know how that rips out my heart? Because that's why I love her. And that is why I watch this show. And it's like unrecognizable. Like I said, she already had her happily ever after. This is somebody totally new. What exactly is normal given that she has a long time relationship with Lucas and now moving on to another man? I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's funny that they kept saying it. And then they're like, "Oh, yes, he's gonna be gone. We'll be back to normal." And then the two again, bloop, in the same spot as they were in episode 1. Bloop, he's making his announcement. I'm staying for a while, which I thought was clever writing. All right, what's this? Nathan's shirt, too odd and out of place. Elizabeth's statement seems like a poor statement to have her say normal. Doesn't make sense at this point. We know. So I don't know if it's a reason why they're doing it or if it's just the way they wrote it. I don't know. So I do like the idea of Elizabeth being a teacher. She has not really had much of a teacher storyline. Little bits of pieces of her in there, but she's all about the kiddos, and that is not the case anymore. But I know that Toby, we got a little nugget of an idea, and I knew he was going to have some type of a learning disability. They did tackle dyslexia before. But this is more of him with numbers, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. He has great memory, he can memorize things, but I think that Billy did a really good job of and my heart broke for him when she was in the library and she could hear someone crying and there he is and he's like, what's wrong with me? I cannot tell you how many kids are like that. When they can't get something or can't do something, they think that there's something wrong with them. I just had a conversation with my students because we're reading a book called Save Me a Seat. And we get it, one of the main characters, we get into their head of what it's like to be, we use the term disabled. So that's the term that we even use in my own family from people who are disabled. So they're in special ed and the kids think, oh, there's something wrong with you with it when you're in special ed. And I was like, no. Well, then why are you in that class? Or those, I said, there are children that are disabled and have, in special ed in my classroom, in our classroom. Do they physically look different than us? No. And it's because their brains just work differently. They need a different classroom setting. I felt like saying most of us need a different classroom setting. But anyway, so Toby, I feel like, is going to have some type of a disability. And that's what happens. They think that something's wrong with them, which breaks my heart. And I hope they do that storyline justice. Yeah. You're all still talking about Lucas, and I moved on to Toby. Toby, that story is cute. It's going to be a good one, I hope, right? Hello? Any teachers out there can feel my heart? Or maybe you have a child with learning disabilities? Like, this is supposed to be, it's going to be a good storyline. I want it to be a good storyline. I'm willing it. I'm willing it to be a good storyline. Okay. I'm marking that off. Let's see. Robin, I love that scene. It's a dream. Martha, what's a dream? Again, you're telling us a dream. You told us it was a dream yesterday. Where is Toby's parents? You know what? Where are Opal's parents? Where are anybody's parents? They just don't write them in really that much, right? People are enjoying the comments about, every child learns differently. Yep, to and at different paces. That's true. You feel the same way. I remember having those feelings. Toby is a good addition. He is. And I want to hear his storyline. And I love that he has a good friend in Cooper. And Cooper is a gentle soul. He is used to thinking outside of the box because his sister's brilliant and she can do all kinds of things because her family thinks outside of the box. And disability is not always physical, and everyone needs to be aware of. And yes, I hope this will be a good student storyline. Me too. I'm very excited. Good. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with me. I have a grandson with a disability, but it's far from a learning disability. Yes. Yes, that's true. So you know what we're talking. His is more of a physical, right? But it's far from a learning, right? His is a physical disability. And I have family members that fall, they have disabilities as well. Lizzie can flirt with Reggie. I'm taking that off. We're talking about Billy's great acting and Toby, the storyline. We'll come back. Write that again when you want. Sharon says, spent 30 years as a teacher of kids with learning differences. We'll enjoy Toby's story. Yes. So good for Billy. He's got a meaty little storyline coming in. He's got that cute pairing with Cooper as his buddy. So I'm excited to see where this goes. All right. So let's talk about the kiddos. I see that because the two brother and sister don't get along, they kind of did that pushing and shoving with their books. And I know that may have sounded weird or looked weird, but let me tell you, it's the truth. When you have brothers and sisters sitting next to each other, they don't breathe in my space kind of thing. And then his parents look over at Coop and his sister, and Angela, and it was an opportunity, and I knew that's where it was going to go because I heard Viv talk about this. It was an opportunity for us to get some insight into Minnie's backstory and Joseph's backstory. Now, yes, Joseph talked about his brother. I could be totally wrong, but what if his brother had eyes for Minnie? And then Minnie fell in love with Joseph instead. And that could be what caused the rift between the two. I don't know. This is just my imagination flowing around here. I'm just curious to see what it has to do with. Like, so that storyline of the brother and sister was able to push on open some we're going to get to meet his brother too. Forget how many episodes later is coming. So, and I thought I heard Viv say there was a connection to Minnie. I could be wrong. Yes, Rona is very hands-on. Yes, he is. Like building it. Yep, that bridge. Yes. Very good. Yes, yes, yes. A triangle. Another triangle, Chris. But that one's past, thank God. Well, when Joseph brought up his brother, Minnie did give him a look. Not sure what that was about. Maybe she was surprised that he said it. Well, I'm dyslexic and came from an age where they didn't work with kids. I'm a lot older than the rest of you, so it was always hard. I think they just have too many storylines, so they can't elaborate. I don't know. They might. They did dyslexia before. Teresa, I'm not sure which way it's pronounced. I have something for you. A beautiful story. It is by Patricia Polacco, and it is Thank You, Mr. Faulkner. And it is a true story. And it's this gorgeous, she's art, does all her illustrations too. Gorgeous, beautiful book. Buy it. You will love it. It will make you cry. It is so cool. And it's about dyslexia. You go there and you get it. Anybody that's here, it's beautiful. I love your theories. That would make a lot of sense. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so the kiddos. Another storyline with the kiddos is that gorgeous little Lily and Faith story. So Faith is the doctor. She's overwhelmed. She has to be a mom. And they come up that everybody's pitching in. And of course, she's running around. She can't be at the infirmary because it's dangerous. So she's running around inside of the cafe. By the way, it's no longer Abigail's. It's called the cafe now. And let me put that up. I love how they come up with an idea of where's their empty building, and they're like, "Oh, we know of one like Henry's." There's Henry reading his paper, doing his thing, and all the ladies line up, and then they make sure they put physically Lily in the front of them, and they're like, "Hello." And of course, he takes his tools and he spiffies it up for them in the matter of hours, which is adorable. So I hope that we get a little bit more of that storyline. And is Robert going to be the daycare facilitator or director? Because Robert's got 572 jobs. Let's put Robert in there too. The Canfield scene with Cooper and Angela was a great scene of how things can go off with siblings, and we're always hopeful they could come back together. However, not always possible. You are correct. And I love when Joseph knows this. So he looks up and he gives a nod to God and he says, "Thank you." I love that because it doesn't always happen. And you are right. You are right. I love Patricia Polacco and was lucky. Oh, and was lucky enough to meet her. Cindy, she used to come to schools, right? And we couldn't afford her. We just could not afford her. I would love that. So yes, back to the daycare and the conversation that Lily has with Faith, and she says at the daycare, playing funny Roxanne and Robert. Not sure what Robert said. I'm not. Oh, with me, what I said about Robert. I'm sorry, sidetracked. She's like, I played with Goldie and I played with little Jack, or LJ, and they have aunties, and I don't have an auntie. And she's like, well, I can be Auntie Faith, which I love. I love that. I love their little storyline. It's just perfect. All right. Bring on a new storyline for the Canfields, which will be awesome. Love them all and such powerful message in life. Yes. Okay. Oh, she would be a great daycare director. Maybe. She's going away to be a teacher, though. I think. Was it a teacher? Or was it something else? Now I forget. So Auntie Faith, love, love, love that story. No, Allie is not out of school. But she is definitely in school. Remember, her father delivered her fake lunch, which I thought was lame. Okay. And here's why I think things like that are lame. It, like I said, if it takes, I don't know. It's just, how old are you? Okay. You've been married, you've been engaged. You know, he's a Mountie, he's seen things and they act so immature. That's not how people of their age, I don't care how innocent they are, that's not how they behave. All right. So anyway, back to the storyline. I just think that'll be cute. The whole seeing the kiddos and Henry gave up his space. Henry gave up a lot. Henry needs a storyline. Henry needs a job. He's looking at manure and fixing up the daycare. He's tending to the trees. Henry is in his happy place, and Henry, I know, is going to give counsel to Lucas. It says it later on, but I think he needs to be part of his council. They need to get together. Okay. Now I'm laughing, some of you people. Oh, Rosaline's going to be a nurse. Thank you, Lillian. You always know. Okay, so now let's talk about Mike and May. I just love their cute little relationship, and they have a 5-month milestone. Did you get the vibe that I got that they've never even kissed yet? Can you tell me that? Now she does give him a peck on the cheek, but have they ever kissed before? Wouldn't it be interesting? Joseph's brother is an eye surgeon and he can help his daughter see again. No. Yes and no. I don't want her to ever have to see again. We always have to feel like we have to fix someone's disability, and I don't want to have to fix her disability. She is just perfect the way she is. I don't want that storyline to go away. I want her, I mean, I want her to be blind. Good Lord, I sound insane. But you know what I mean? Like I don't look at her disability as something wrong that has to be fixed. She's doing beautifully. I mean, I'm good. I'm good with it. That's just my opinion. All right. Erin said she's looking forward to creating grown-up relationship. I love watching the new love story, but they don't need to discredit the past in a negative way. Kathy, that is not a grown-up relationship. She had a grown-up relationship with Lucas. She had a grown-up relationship with Jack, but this is not a grown-up relationship. This is weird. Grown up, really? A grown man pretends to deliver lunch and lies ridiculously because he wanted 2 seconds to see someone. Just say he wanted to see someone. I don't know. Okay, so Mike and May. I don't believe they've kissed yet, and that was a fast 5 months. Well, no, because we saw them dance and get together at the dance. We know that 3 months goes by because Elizabeth says that in her journal from the shooting, and they danced right before the shooting, right? So now it's like the third episode that's come on. So 5 months makes sense to me. I'm okay with the 5 months. Let's see. Mike and May, their almost kisses have all been interrupted. Well, I love the hilarity of where and he's so appreciative where she's like, you've been busy. I got it. I got something special. And he's like, oh, he loves it that she's ready to surprise him. So they go out to the woods to have like this beautiful scenery, a picnic lunch. And then not only do all these kids arrive and run around, I'm like, oh, and then comes in Lucas and Elizabeth, and then comes a car one way and a car the other way, and they're all like looking around. I love, love, love Ben's facial expressions. He's just so cute and I don't know. And then they're like, oh, and Elizabeth's like, oh my gosh, she recognizes we may have, stepped in on something, but no one else cares. Everybody just barges in. So they just go with it and they run around with the kids and play with the kids too. But she does get a little peck on the cheek for him, which is sweet. I agree, Roxanne. What I'm saying is it's written weird sometimes. Yeah, it is. I'm agreeing with you too. All right. So, oh yes. Now then she falls off a stool into his arms. Oh my God. Okay. Interrupted kisses, how very Hallmark. Mike, yeah. Mike and May need to have a kiss. Mike is such a gentleman and so respectful of her feelings. Love it. I know. I said they're the cutest couple that I never knew I needed, I love those two. And are we still voting? Are we still cheering on a Mike and May wedding? Yes. Has anyone changed their mind and think it's someone else? I heard rumors that people think that we're going to be shocked and it's going to wind up being Elizabeth and Nathan. Maybe, terrible people come to hurt Lucas, and it's like I know there's supposed to be some like big drama, and the town has to recoup from whatever this big drama is. And maybe Elizabeth realizes, life is too short, and let's stop mooning at each other, and let's kiss, and let's get married. Maybe it'll be a double wedding. All right. No, definitely Mike and May. ENN marriage would be too soon. Okay. Yes, wedding bells for Mike and May. Yes, 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 yes. I think that'll be cute. I'm excited for that. And Deb says gag. Okay. All righty. So I think I covered everything. I talked about the organized crime, and I think I have almost everything that I wanted to cover. And I've been yammering for 40 minutes. Good Lord, you people. 40 minutes I've been yang, 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 as my students say. They go like that to me. It's a joke because I do it to them too. I wanted to say something, if you don't mind, a double wedding. And if anybody wants to add a question that I haven't covered, do that now. Many people ask me all the time, I can't find the link. I don't know where the link is. How do I get the link? I need the link. Okay. And if I can help you, I can, but not for nothing. The easiest thing to do is to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. You can't click the bell for notifications unless you subscribe. So it's not like I'm trying to get you to subscribe. I'm good with my subscriptions. But if you click, then you get your notifications. You love my yammering. Thank you. So that's one of the easiest things to do. And when I tell you that, it's not that I don't want to help you. It's that I can give you a link and then you still can't get in. Every time you ask for a link, and I don't mean link to my channel. People want a link to, even if I give you a link to my channel, if you don't subscribe, you're not going to be notified, and you're going to have to dig through stuff. So that's just what I'm telling you. Okay. What do we have here? Hello, Mel Bell. I think maybe Nathan is not sure if Elizabeth loves and is not in love with him. So he wants to not have her, but don't want to force against her will. He was quite forceful last season when he marched in and he walked up on her and said, "What is it that you want?" You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden he's like Mooney Pie. Okay, he can have what he wants, but he's afraid. Just think it's weird writing. I'm not saying I don't want them to get together. I want the opposite to happen. Get together. Like, so he could be a Mountie. So we could see them as a couple instead of them just, looking at each other and being Mooney. I need for them to move on with that. Where is this? Where do you think Lucas will have his office now that he's staying in Hope Valley for a while? Gowan Petroleum is used by Daycare, so maybe space above Judge's office. Kathy, he's using his own office a couple times a week. He talked to Lee about it. So you mean permanently? I think it doesn't need to be permanently because as of now, he's not there all the time, but it could be. Yeah. And Georgianne, you think I'm funny. Okay. I'm just frustrated. I just go to YouTube and click on the link. You are the only group I refer to in YouTube. Thank you, Chris. Chris, you didn't subscribe to my channel. Thanks, Chris. Oh, here we go with the bad writing. Okay. Lucas was upset when he found out Benson Hills owns part of the land. Yeah. He felt like he missed something. And right away, no, they haven't announced season 12 yet. Right away, Lee's like, I said that was in the agreement. And then that's how we find out that, who didn't disclose it. That's why it seems so Captain Obvious. I don't think he's the shooter because I don't know, unless he's putting on an act. I don't think he would think firing a gun was too messy. Mike doesn't need an office to run the business as the new manager. I think he needs an office. He needs an office. Why wouldn't he need an office? He's manager. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We all know the truth of the matter is limited space on the set, and they do a phenomenal job with it. So we can't get caught up in all of these little things. I mean, we're worried about offices. We don't even know where Lucas lives. We don't even know where Mike Hickam lives. We don't even know where Bill lives. Okay. Where I thought Bill lived, I don't know. We don't even know where Henry lives, unless Henry's still living at the top of the office of where the judge's quarters are, which would make no sense. That's where Bill should live up there. We don't know where anybody lives. And guess what? We don't know where Opal's parents are. Okay. We have to just pretend that we know. Yes, he does need an office. He does. If for nothing else, so he could privately smooch with his lady when they start to smooch. What, Martha? Martha. I'm beginning to think someone hacked your account, Martha, because every time you come on, the only thing that said is it's a dream. Are you joking? Is that you're scaring me? Are you doing that as a joke? Put something in the comments so I know it's the real Martha. Otherwise, I think you got hacked, Martha. What are your thoughts? Hold on. He doesn't need Lucas's office, is what I meant. Okay. What are your thoughts about Lucas's disheveled look and ill-fitting suit? Kathy, you came in late, didn't you? Because I thought you didn't come last night either, Kathy. Last night is my Lucas Bouchard. That's all we talk about. And we addressed that issue. And also when we first opened, we talked about it. I think it's on purpose. You know, he's going through a lot. He has to recoup. We're going to see the arc of the comeback of Lucas. I remember in a very first early interview last season when Lindsay, the showrunner, was on, and she said that there are all kinds of heroes. And Lucas does not, you don't need to wear a red serge. And Lucas was a hero and he was going to save the town. And I think that that's what it is. He's brokenhearted. He's healing, like he said, on the mend. Everything is on the mend. And that's why they gave him that cane and he kind of along. And I think he's just going to get it together. Roxanne, it's me. Even Chuck says it's a dream. Okay. Thank you, Martha, because I was getting scared. It's like, who shot JR? No, Bobby. Remember when that stuff happens with Bobby and then we found out it was all a dream? Oh gosh. I don't know. I always watch the fireside chat late because I don't want spoilers, but keep it up. They're fun. Okay. Let's see. It takes a while to get back in shape after surgery. And I was wondering, why wouldn't they involve Faith? He's there. Why wouldn't Faith be helping him? I mean, I know he's got some doctor or wherever, but Faith should be there helping him. That's how she came to Hope Valley. She was a nurse and did physical therapy with Henry when he got shot. Or not shot, when he hurt his leg. So I thought that Faith, I mean, let her do her infirmary, her doctoring. Do you think that Lucas may have to revert to some old techniques of negotiations? Yeah, I do. I do. I think a lot of that's going to come out. And I think that's why Henry is going to help him out too. Oh, Kathy, you could miss them. I'm teasing you. Wait. It's not a dream, it's a nightmare. Let's be kind. Let's all be kind. Maybe Faith will be helping Lucas now that he is in Hope Valley for a while. True, because he was only going to be there for a few days, and now that he is going to stay for a while, that would be great. Okay. Oh my, Avis. Yes, that book wagon is in the black hole, girl. It's in the black hole. It is. And you know what? Mountie Nathan is going to go find it for Elizabeth. Poor Mountie Nathan. Why is he not a Mountie? Okay. Do you think Elizabeth will go back to Jack's grave this season? As that would be interesting to confess her new love, as that would make for a good scene. I say it's the last episode. She's already kissed passionately. Finally, everybody who's in love with the Nathan and Elizabeth storyline will flip a wig. And then you see her standing at the grave and saying she's finally able to move on. She's not going to break. She's going to do this. You'll always be my love, Jack, but this is the new man in my life. And it's kind of early and misty. And as she walks out of the cemetery, we see these black boots and the camera pans up and it's a red surge and we stop. What if it's the return of Jack somehow? Oh my, that would be hilarious. Who's the PT that Lucas goes to see? We don't know. They never said it. At least they'll have something to read in the black hole. Now we've got someone else saying gag. Does Nathan know how to kiss passionately? I don't know. We've never seen him ever kiss anybody on the show. I don't know. I hope so. All right. You have chills because of my story that I told. All right. Now I'm being silly because I'm tired and it's almost been an hour. Oh, yuck. Okay. All right, folks. So the next time I see you on Monday, I will not be alone. I will have this amazing guest. Her name is Cecilia Deacon, and she is known as Janette. Oh, wait. What? I thought I knew what Jeanette's name was. Do you know Hallmark has not printed it anywhere? I know how to spell Jeanette in French. I get that. But her last name I thought was Lacroix. But then when you see, and I don't know if it's his Canadian accent coming out, when Mike says her last name, it's almost, and it doesn't make sense. It almost sounds like he says Ocroy, like qua. I'm sorry, Ocroy. Like that makes no sense. Do you think he will ever hear about Elizabeth's book again? I don't know, Reggie. There's a lot of things that just, her last name is what? When did that happen? Where? It was never that. It was something totally different. It sounded like he said that, but I think it was, yeah, that does not make sense. That is not what it was a long time ago when we first met her, but we'll figure that out. And where, I know it sounds like that, but that's not even French. It sounded like he said, "Oh, you are correct." Well, I'm going to figure it out because I'm going to go back. And that's not even a French word. Oh, Nathan has had some great movie kisses. Which ones, Georgianne? What are some of his great movie kisses? Not just season 9. They said her last name when we first met her. Like in season 6, I think they said her name. Yeah, but I'll go back. And what's Nope? Bring back Jack to Soap Valley. Not great kisses. I know. There's a debate out there about his great kisses, but listen, that's like everybody's got their own little opinion about that. All right, my dears. I am going to I'm going to go and prepare for bed because I'm tired. And wait a minute, bro. Yeah, okay. It's not what it was, though. That's not what it was in the past. We'll look that up. And I've never even heard of anything like that. Okay. I have to figure it out. I'm moving on, and good night, and see you next week on a Sunday, though, right? All righty. Good night, everyone.